Guten Abend.
Guten Abend. Guten Abend. Man.
We are not alone right now. That's really quite something. But before we get into the reason why Dave and me are not Dave and me only today, I just want to take the opportunity. 1 minute. I got so many emails now after the free shipping thing when it comes to the OBC, and I try to lower the amount by stating 3 facts and answering 3 of the most common questions. Is the free shipping really worldwide? Yes, the free shipping is worldwide. Does worldwide free shipping include the US? Yes, the world is also including the United States of America. Who can order at the OBC shop? Everybody that can click on the link beneath this video can order at the OBC shop. So those are the most questions I got. And this young gentleman, yeah, is one of the OBC members from the very first hour, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we met up this weekend for sharing our interest in original pressings. We had an amazing time. Dave, you had an amazing time too, right?
Yeah, we had a whirlwind of sort of Friday and Saturday it was a pretty relentless entertainment and good quality food and beers. Chucked in a bit of Premiership football as well. I mean,
you went to a Chelsea game with him, right?
Yeah. We went to Chelsea Fulham. Yes, and we had a win. It was 1-0 to Chelsea.
Really, the first win in years, right?
Well, yeah, it's certainly the first win that I've actually witnessed with my own eyes for quite a while. So, and it was a hard fought, very scrappy sort of game, but just to have that, it was really, really edgy at the end. I mean, I know Manchester, he was definitely feeling it as well. I could see the pain, and he got the real purest football experience there.
There was a lot of blow the whistle.
Yeah. So it was really,
those Chelsea fans are very frightened people.
Yeah,
they are very afraid. I know, I agree. But on the other hand, what we want to do today is we want to grab the strings of Wednesday, right? And get, again, like we also did with the Fela Kuti, a little bit more into those electronic warp records.
Yeah, correct. Like when we did it with the Fela, I really want to follow on from what we did, because that the when with Thomas, that was amazing doing that. That
was fun, right? Yeah,
amazing. Yeah. We're covering so many great records, and even with Manch over getting the red carpet rolled out for him in London, I've still pulled it out of the hat for tonight. Yeah, because I went down and I've got 2 boxes of my, this is archive gear. Yeah, and it's I'm gonna follow on showing some Warp records, but they're showing some of the key artists and what they were doing on their own labels, because it's very important that Warp got a lot of these acts to the forefront, but they were putting out 12 inches beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are really beautiful. Yeah, so we're going to look at those, but I'm just going to start with a bit of random, because out the 2 boxes I pulled, I found some nice things that you'll know, Michael, like, for example, like this.
Ah, Manuel Göttsching.
Yeah. So I found this. Like,
where did you find this? Is it a German first?
Yeah, of course. Look, Michael.
Right? Michael, Dave, you can't find a Manuel Göttsching. It's not possible. Embossed jacket?
Yeah, I can feel all the squares. They're embossed. Yeah,
that's important. This is amazing.
This is a proper near mint copy.
No, that's nice.
But I've had this. Look, I mean, you can see the quality of it.
Yeah.
Um,
Nice.
Very rare record, obviously. Very old
It is
record, right?
extremely rare. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's quite important to look at that from the sort of because it influenced a lot of people, that record. And I just want to show something, because one of the people it influenced was well,
Sorry,
one.
you are absolutely right. We have been very, very rude.
Oh, that's
Justin, I'm
terrible.
Manch Mitchell.
This
I'm
is
Manch Mitchell.
that's
I'm on a
Manch.
bit of a record buying journey this week.
Michael, do you want to do a yeah? Manch, do you want to just say what you say what you've been doing? Yeah, because tell them on the mad adventure that you've done quickly, because that'd be good just for people to know.
On a long 4-day weekend, I've stopped into London and here in Dusseldorf record buying. And Justin, you are correct. My back, I need to look out for.
Anyway, yeah, Manch, it was super to meet you and do all of that, and I just think it's brilliant what you're doing, and the idea. I think about it, I think it's hardcore. Yeah, it's hardcore.
Yeah, this has been a great adventure. And it's all you two's fault.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing is talk about all those things that has happened, and it's quite an amazing time so far.
It's been fun. It's been fun.
Yeah. But Dave, where did you get this sketching? Because this is serious.
This is my copy. I bought this 20 years ago when, I knew what it was and I wanted to get one. The reason I know what it's about is because of this.
Yeah, wait a second.
This is Suena Latino on Creative, the original Italian. And this was a famous sort of Balearic house 12-inch. And it samples E2, E4, you see. This, yeah. And it's it's the Derek May remix, 1992, I believe. And this was the record that kind of made me aware of the E2, E4, because it samples it heavily as part of.
Okay.
Yeah,
I wasn't aware of that. Interesting.
Yeah, so that's the reason why the sort of E2, E4 became sort of famous in the dance music world. Because of that record, because that was a really popular track in the clubs. Yeah. So it was just to show that the sort of connection there, and that's a bit of a theme actually of what I'm going to be doing for the session. It's all about the
so you have become aware of the Göttsching at the time.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't aware of that. Interesting.
And Michael, I've got to say, back then it was a very hard record to get hold of.
We had this discussion today. A lot of those records that are so pricey nowadays always have been quite pricey.
That one was, I mean, that wasn't cheap even when I bought it. And it wasn't something you could just get. It's one of those ones you had to wait. And luckily, I managed to, a really nice near mint copy came up, and I managed to get my hands on it. But we're going back a very long time. And like I said, I've dug these boxes out, and I'm like, oh god, like the stuff that I found this. I really like this. Quickly, a Kraftwerker studio test pressing of Tour de France with a studio sheet from.
No.
Yeah, look, 1983.
This one.
See that?
Yeah, I see that. I'm not blind. This is
June
amazing.
1983. Beautiful. Yeah.
For sure.
A Clean Clang product, 1983. And as you can see, it's just got a blank white label there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always, it's funny. I sort of think back to some of the earliest records I've ever bought. Tour de France by Kraftwerk, I bought, when I was very young. I must have been
28, 29.
Oh no, we're going back to like 12, right? I remember going in our pros, and I really liked it. Or I was young, and I wanted that record, so I bought the 12-inch. And then when I became much more hardcore about records, I had to get this turned up, and I thought I really wanted a studio white label of it, So
wait, my English just loses me. You're not telling me that you bought a Kraftwerk test pressing when you were 12.
No,
Okay.
no,
Okay.
no. That
Okay.
came. That was probably 10 years later. Right.
Okay. That calms me down a little bit.
Yeah. No, I'm not that. I'm not that amazing.
I just have the picture in my head. 12-year-old Dave Parsons goes and buys
I need the test pressing of that. No, that's not the case.
But beyond your years.
Yeah, but man, you mentioned, what it was doing is probably setting the foundations, for what was coming after. So, but yeah, I'm going to just quickly show a couple of other things before I move into the, because we showed some of it. I found my cavity job Ulteca, yeah. So I know Stunty showed this, and I found my copy of it as well. So I like to show things, Stunty. I didn't realise how big a fan Stunty was of them. So I found, got this, the first album.
Great one, by the way. Yeah.
And this one, I'll just show it to you. And I know Stunty says the sound qualities, of these ones is, how shall I put it diplomatically, dubious. But it's the silver, you see.
Okay. Yeah.
And I had a talk with Bench, about this actually over the weekend, about the sort of pressing quality. And, some of these early walk ones, hey, they're going to potentially have a bit of a higher, higher noise floor on them behind. And, they're not the best pressings in the world, but, they're very special records and they're very beautiful things, right at the start. So that's actually, I just got, that's really cool. 34, buying Tommy Boy test records. That's cool because I think of Soul Sonic Force, Planet Rock, and stuff like that on Tommy Boy. Early hip hop, early use of drum machines, and that's very, very cool. It's a good label. That, in fact, Arthur Baker of Soul Sonic Force, he actually, funny little story, man. It's where we were at the Westbourne. Just by there used to be a cafe, and he lived just round the corner when he lived in London for quite a few years. And I always used to see him getting a coffee in the morning at the coffee shop, Arthur Baker. Sort of, producer legend, In fact, Nick Cave used to go and get his coffee there as well. He was always there in the morning.
Nick Cave, wow.
Yeah, he lived down the road. He used to live down the road. He lives down in Brighton now. But
you're kidding me.
Yeah, he was always there. I always used to see him. He's really cool. No, it's just you get to see all these people about. See, that's the sort of place I hang out, Michael. Anyway.
Okay. Here. Oh, will we see that in the shop, Dave?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, that, and again, I totally concur with Stunty on this one. It's an absolute killer record.
Yeah.
Brilliant record. And one of the ones on Walk.
It relies on Kraftwerk.
One of the ones on Walk that was slightly under the radar as well. Yeah. But again, a real classic release.
The jacket art, the cover art is amazing, by the way.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
And I've also, just to show, because I know this came up in conversation, this is very rare. I've got this is the original Bulls of Canada tourism.
No.
On 100 copies only on Music 70.
Wow.
This is from 1995. This record. And they made, it's basically their first their first proper vinyl album. Not easy. Hold on, get that the right way around. Yeah, this is super rare.
This is super rare.
One, yeah. I mean, you don't.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Dave. But compared to this, the FX Twin ambient selected records is a common record compared to this one.
Oh yeah, massively. This is really quite impossible. Well, it is impossible to get really now.
Oh.
This used to sell before sort of Discogs got sort of a bit bigger. I remember whenever original of this turned up, I mean, it would sell for over 2,000.
Yes.
But it calmed down a bit. But it's still, I mean, there's no, it's not something that's possible to get up. But the reissue on Warp is you get that, But I remember I got on that early and I found one, and yeah,
It's a nice thing to have in the vault.
Yeah, I told you
Just
this was
to
going to
keep
be
calm at night.
because I was so into the scene, you know. I was so involved in that early electronic stuff. I loved it so much.
Yeah.
So
That's true, Mark. That's true, Mark. The FX Twin, they at least were popular enough to get some reissues. A lot of those, that's so true, Mark. A lot of those Warp never got a reissue. That's true. Yeah.
I'm going to show some. I'm going to show some Warp records, but we're going to look at the artificial intelligence series, because it's a good sort of base point. You had the 12 inches before, but some of the artists they were putting out of that, I think, they were really important at the time for their material. And so I'm going to start with the Black Dog, Black Dog Productions, and this is the Bites album, again on Warp limited edition bronze vinyl. Really, really cool cover. I love all the covers from this series because they're just I mean, the artwork they were doing was just stunning at the time.
But which number are we talking here when it comes to this copy, Dave? I'm not able to put it in the line.
They did 2,000 of each one, so they did 2,000.
What year? It's past.
This would be 1993. This one.
So after the artificial intelligence series,
right? So they did that compilation. They did that compilation as the very first in the series, And then
Dave, that sticker looks just like the one off Selected Ambient Works too. Did Warp? Was that like their standard limited edition sticker?
It was, Manch, but after they didn't do it on the first in the series. I don't even know if that was limited, but it's very rare. It really doesn't show up original copies of that. But that one I don't think was limited, but I can't tell you what the pressing numbers were on it. But what I will say is that the ones that are stickers, so the limited ones that they started to do afterwards, which were artist specific albums, so you had the Black Dog, B12, Fuse, who's Richie Hawtin, Ulteca, Global King. They all those they were 2,000 copies each, and they were stickered. Yeah, they were all stickered. I'll show you the bronze. It's really nice color, this, actually. Look at that.
Nice. But we are okay. Let's talk about the quality of the pressing in this case. We don't get an FX Twin Selected Ambience Work 2 disaster here, right? Or do we?
That's a difficult question, Michael, because I think when we get into this subject, it can be very subjective. For me, I can listen to that fine, and there might be, it's not an audiophile record, right? It's not it's not what some people have expectations about these days. But we've got to remember we're going back 30 years.
Yes.
For me, I can put this on and I can engage with it and enjoy it. And it's not going to be super perfect, but it's very important, And there's obviously the black.
I totally agree. Yeah.
And people, it is a difficult subject. I mean, just to show you, this is what I was like. Yeah. So I got that, but obviously for me, I also had to get myself the white label promo of it.
Okay.
Which is on this one's on black vinyl, you see. So
okay.
So this is what they did. They would do these stickered, as you can see here. Look at that, Bites, Warp Records. That's all they did. And look, that's just a black vinyl version of it.
Oh wow!
I was going back, and I love the way that they wouldn't even put it'd just be on a paper in the sleeve, but with a really cool Warp sticker at the top. Yeah.
Dave, is that label written with a typewriter?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. That's all they did. They literally did typewriter.
It's real vintage.
yeah. Well, we're going back a long time. In fact, the second disc as well was the same. It's just, I'll show you. You can see there again. It's just a sort of type stickered label on there. So, yeah. That's what they did.
That's Warp.
That is.
So did I see side C on that? It's a double album?
So it's a double album. There's 2 discs. Yeah,
Okay.
double album. And a very cool album. That's, you know, the reason I was showing this is because this was 1993. But what I want to show you, I want to dig deeper, because Black Dog were actually around 5 years earlier. Yeah. And they had their own label, Black Dog Productions. And this is the very first record they put out. I'll get it out the sleeve.
Yeah.
Great artwork. This is BD001, and their very first record that they did. And
now we are not on the Warp label. We are at a different label here, right?
Yeah, we are. No, it's interesting. I don't know if I can get that into focus. It says 1990 on the back, but on this, well, I don't really trust Discogs for everything. I prefer to use my brain, but it says 1990. So, although I think it was probably recorded in 1989. So we're going back a lot earlier, you know. So, you know, yeah, 4 years. So yeah, we're at least 3-4 years before Bytes even came out. You know, we're going back before the Artificial Intelligence compilation, you know. And it's interesting that, you know, looking that this music was being produced. And Black Dog can definitely be seen as one of the real pioneers of that whole intelligent IDM, intelligent dance music. Yeah.
Do you have some background on that Black Dog? What happened afterwards? Did he only do this stuff, or
no? They've been very good. They've put out loads of records. There was multiple records on Warp. They put out. You know, they did loads of. There's loads of great albums by the Black Dog. Yeah, and originally there were 3 members, and then it went to 2. But if you look up, they've got a huge discography on Discogs, and they've been active for many years. But I really like these early ones because they're really rare. You know, this is their second record, Dog. Yeah, Black Dog. Yeah.
We are talking 12 inches here, right? We are not talking
12 inches. Yeah. And so this one's called it's called Dogism. Yeah, so Dogism. And again, it's got a very cool label. I'll just show the label. And again, we're looking very early. I mean, I think this is probably 1990 or 1991.
How did you become aware of those? Through the clubs, and you asked the DJs, what is it, or a radio, or where did you get the information?
We were listening to a lot. You know, me and my friends, we were listening to a lot of radio. There was great radio at that time, yeah. And you know, there was a lot of particularly in London. There was a lot of great underground pirate radio stations, and you were. You know, you were exposed to a lot of this music. I mean, like Black Dog, I became aware of. I think it was probably via the Future Sound of London broadcast, because they were very good at picking tracks. And then back then, you didn't have things like Shazam, where you could, you know, press a button and then it would tell you what the music was. You had to research. Yeah, it's a whole different ball game. And so. Yeah, I mean, but I bet we found out a lot back then about what was what, and you know, I can put it down to a lot of this. You know, it was all radio, and sort of listening to shows again on, you know, like on Kiss FM, Colin Favor and Colin Dale, both on within the week, and then there were clubs going on sort of around this scene, and you'd hear about those on the radio, and then you'd go, and it just opened the whole world up to this. You know, I want to show this one. This is Black Dog number 3. And this one's got it's got a super cover, yeah,
for sure.
So cool, yeah. And this one's they didn't make many of these. I think all these early Black Dogs, maybe 500 copies only, something like that. Yeah. Not many, but this one apparently it didn't sell. I think there's a story. You have to, you know, correct me if I'm wrong when you check it afterwards. But I'm doing this off my head. But I seem to remember that it didn't sell at all well at the time. You know, I mean, it's so underground. That they ended up destroying loads of them. So it had a reputation that it was really hard to get hold of. Yeah. And it's such a good record. You know, it's got early breakbeat on there. I mean, they were real pioneers, Black Dog, real pioneers. Yeah.
Wait a second, please. Show it again. I was too slow.
Sorry. Just so you can see the label. There we go.
Nice. The whole design is beautiful.
Yeah,
I like the A and the A plus.
Typical. At least at that time they did that.
Mhm.
Sometimes nowadays, when you go into electronic avant-garde stuff, you get a black record with a black label in a black jacket, and that's it.
Yeah.
No A, B, 45, 33, nothing.
Yeah, unless it's in the dead
Nothing.
wax.
No, yeah,
Mhm.
unless exactly nothing. Oh, that's a
and you got to
pain.
remember, we haven't even reached those, our artificial intelligence yet. This is well before. Another label I'll just show you as well. This is on General Productions, which was Stunty mentioned this, and again, it's an important label to mention because they were quite prolific in the stuff that they put out, but they also put out Black Dog, and this is Parallel Squelch on General. Yeah, it's General Production Recordings is the label, and they put out some great artists like Luke Slater, Black Dog, and again, it's all very, very, very early techno that was going on over here in the UK.
Nice.
So very, very nice. I've got one other I'm going to show because there was an offshoot. So I love this. Is this is a proper train spotting session. This one because some of
That's
these.
sneaky, Mark. Dave, can you read Mark's comments? When we DJ'd, we used to cover the labels with white blanks so the train spotters couldn't see what records we were playing.
They did. Mark, you're right, because they didn't. Yeah, that when you were playing music out and you played an amazing tune that everybody was into, they didn't want to let on so other DJs could use it. So people were hiding what they were playing. This is another one. So. The Black Dog had an offshoot. Well, it was members of Black Dog, but Plaid, yeah. And this is the very first album they did. And again, this is on Black Dog Productions. Mavuki, yeah.
Right.
This is ludicrously rare as well. I mean, it's 1991.
Okay, I see 8 songs. So this is an album and not
yeah,
a 12?
this is an album. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, this is an album and a great album as well. And again, another, it was on Black Dog Productions, and that's why I really wanted to show this sort of connection going back to, what was happening beforehand. It's funny. Someone this week mentioned to me, they saw the stream and they said, "I can't believe you didn't really mention Black Dog." And I thought, you're right. So that's why I'm giving them a good coverage on here. And I've got actually just showing that album is very rare. Hard to get. I've also got a I remember I got this, and there's only 5. This is a test pressing of it, and apparently there's only 5 of these in existence. Yeah,
nice.
I remember I managed to get a test pressing of that album. Yeah, so it's quite nice, quite nice. I told you that these boxes are pretty hardcore. The stuff here.
And
So,
I just can imagine. I just can imagine getting into those and listen to this music. Must be so interesting. Damn it! I would like to do that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was. I just got so obsessed with it at the time. And you then sort of. It's just a great thing. You start finding these 12 inches, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. It takes a long time. You don't just get them all. You have to really hunt them down. So.
But you didn't get those when they came out. You also
no, that was even those Black Dogs, those 12 inches. I mean, if we're talking 1989, 1990, 91, I was only even just getting into that scene in about 92, 93, 92, around then. So these were already out. Yeah, these had come out, and they didn't make many. So it was a question of trying to hunt them down afterwards. And I was very lucky. This is pre-Discogs, because I joined. I mean, we're going back 10 years before Discogs, because Discogs was 2000. I joined in 2002. I think it opened in about 2000 or 2001. So we all went on there. So it was all mailing list, and there was some really good email lists. I told you about these, like the 313 mailing list. And there was a guy, a very, very famous collector down in Brighton called. I'll mention his name, Mark Sharwood Walker, and if he sees this video, he'll love it because I visited him down in Brighton, and he had an amazing collection. Yeah, and I remember he decided he was going to sell it all, and I thought, I'm going Brighton. So I got in my car, went down to Brighton. I spent the whole day there at his place. Yeah, and there were some really good dealers around at the time that were sourcing this stuff, and his collection was, you know, he had everything, and I was like, already some stuff had been prized, but there was still a ton of amazing things there. I bought a lot of the B12 stuff, which I'm going to show you next, from him. But that was one that I weighed in hard on his collection, yeah, and the whole day. And he was a lovely chap, and he was one of the guys that was just really into this scene, you know. And it all happened a lot earlier and before the internet was big, you know. This is how you had to do things. You had to find out who the dealers were, you know. And Record Collector magazine was a good way to do. You found out about people, and occasionally even techno was rare because Record Collector was very much a rock and pop based thing. But occasionally in the classified ads at the back, you would see some electronic, and you go, and then you contact that person, then they would have some more, and then maybe they knew someone else, you know. And it was kind of done that way. And yeah, you
used to write letters back in the day to these people just to get a catalog.
That's true. I like Justin's idea. Offer Dave a plane ticket and all the beer he can drink, Michael, and bet he'll be bringing those to place for this. Yeah. Question from Mark. Dave, if you were on the 313 mailing list, you might have recalled the terms MHS.
Oh, so Mark must have been on there then. That's I like that there's someone here that was on that, because I don't know that. Mark, you should enlighten us, please, because I can't, you know, this is going back such a long time.
That was what all of us into the hard stuff used to use when talking about it on 313. Okay.
Wow. Mark, you know, please, because I find it really, monotonous hardship. That's interesting.
I thought it was your initials, Mark.
No, that's interesting, because see, the techno, some people look at it and there's this hard thumping beat, but there's a whole much more intellectual side to it, which I think a lot of people, you know, the people in the 313 is the phone area code for Detroit. And Detroit music was the very pure form of techno, but more it was how do I describe it? I mean, you know, it's very, very beautiful, you know, strings, beats, but much more. It's very complex. It wasn't just a you know, not just a thumping hard techno beat. It was much more intricate than that, and much more I suppose rhythm. It's had so much more going on, and I think that's what a lot of these guys on that list, that's what we were really into, you know. It's right, light air, you know, lots of strings going on. I'm going to show some amazing stuff to do with that as well, actually. But I want to get on to my next, because while we're doing this scene, so the next Warp album, right? Because we've done Black Dog, but I want to look at B12. And I know I've done B12 before, but, you know, the Electro Soma.
Yeah.
Again,
I love that.
Series here.
Yeah, there's that sticker again.
See?
Right.
And again, B12 were very... Look at that for interior.
Nice. The whole design of them has been beautiful.
Very of the era, you know.
Yeah.
And B12 were very, very important. Steve Golding and Mike Rutter, their names were very, very important in the whole British electronic scene. Yeah, you got this one was on the orange vinyl.
Yeah, and I have it on the orange vinyl too, and I can say that it sounds very, very, very good. So no problems.
Great. See?
Yeah. No, I have no problems at all with this one.
So again, it's a double album, 2 discs, orange. Yeah. In fact, I'll let people know I do have a spare of this as well. I found, so I'll pop one of those.
How about those Black Dogs, Dave? Any chances for the shop?
You might see one. Yeah, okay, I will. Something. Yeah, there'll be something in there. But the B12 I sort of, they really blew me away. And again, walk really on it. And look, Michael, again, look what I was doing at the time. I'd even forgot. Yeah, so funny when you forget what you had. But I bought both the white. I've got the white label promos of those as well. So look, there's the electro.
Again, oh my god.
Yeah. See, but again, 2 discs. Look, with their nice walk stickers on.
And you have forgotten that you have those?
Yeah.
Okay. Then you should think about the beer. Maybe change the beer.
Michael, we're talking so long ago. I found I've got a white label copy of the second album as well. There, so this is Time Tourist, which is and this one is quite nice. It came with this nice little printout sheet, B12 Time Tourist Walk. Look at that. This was their obviously promotions company, Future Tracks. You see, and it talks about them. I'll see if I can get that in focus, because then people can pause it and read it. There we go.
Read it. Yeah. Oh, this is interesting. And this is only part of the promo.
Yeah, this just came with the test pressing, the white label.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, I call them test pressings, but they're white labels, and white labels are very popular in dance. The white labels were done, and then they were sent out, to DJs, and it was a promotional tool.
Well, still in a way a promo, right?
Yeah, it's a promo tool, And then sometimes, like I showed there, you would get a type sheet or something with a bit of an artist profile and stuff. Great. I how much I love all the extras. That's why I got excited when Stunty was showing all these stickers and stuff. So right, let me put those down. So I'm gonna go back and show you. So again, another B12 was super prolific, with their releases. Those albums again, that 93 around that, but we can go back to 1991 for B12, and so they had their own label, and again they had very strong design with their records. So this is the first release on B12, Musicology.
Okay.
And
but it's a 12-inch. This is a
12-inch. 4 tracks. This was their classic label style. So with the orange, and they would tend to do a stickered sleeve.
So excuse me if I missed it. Pre-warp or warp?
This is pre the Electrosoma album. So that would have been 93, the Electrosoma, but B12 would go back. This one was 1991. 1991. The first one came out. Then we've got I was brilliant with. I was very good with B12 actually. I'm looking here. I thought I might even have some spares. They did their promos. They did them like this with like a sort of hand drawn logo. So I've looked through and I've pretty much got a promo of every single release.
No, you did not.
Yeah, I mean, I'll do a quick Thomas. Look, so I've got that.
Nowadays everybody knows what you mean when you say I do a quick Thomas. Everybody knows what's coming. Okay, I lay back.
So this is Thomas style, So we go like this. There we go. When we got a test pressing, then we got another. I think that might be a spare test pressing of the first. More B12. This is the second one on the label, and they started just to show
you summoned Thomas Busk. Thomas.
There we go. I'm doing a Thomas and Thomas Arrives. They started to do coloured vinyls for a lot of their releases for the original. They were limited colours.
You need to be faster. It's too slow.
Okay, hold on. Here we go. I can't do it. Look. Thomas has obviously got the skills, He knows what he's doing with this. I get too much into the sort of pulling them out and then telling stories about how I bought the music. But I mean, this was such an important label. I mean, I love ones like this. Look at that, Retreat from Unpresent Realities, B12 Records, 1992. That's a promo, just handwritten. White label, handwritten by, and it looked probably written by them because this is their label. This one's nice. This is that Retreat from Unpresent Realities. I love the color of this one. Look at that.
Yes.
I mean, this is real. This is
And we're
like
talking 90s here. I mean,
92, and we're talking still before Time Tourist coming out on Warp. Yeah, they were literally putting these records out, and I would actually, you know, I'd go as far to say that B12 for me is probably the most important British techno artist, techno group at that time.
What about LFO then?
Well, LFO were amazing, but you know, I just think B12 they were kind of they were a very pure form of techno and very beautiful music, and I just really love it. And they put out a good about 12 inches, and I just think there's some of the best, some of the best stuff that was put out at the time early. Yeah, but don't get me wrong, I love LFO. I think they're amazing. But
I know. If you say this is the best, that doesn't mean that the others are not amazing.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. But I think this one for me, I kind of, you know, I just kind of love their stuff. And I found this as well. This is super rare. This is I've got an original test pressing of B1215. Now this is the last record they did, but they actually never put it out. They put it out that this was meant to come out in 1996, but it didn't. Yeah, and this is obviously, you know, this is actually like, you know, this is them doing their they did that label. Yeah, and I think that there's only a handful. They released it some 15 years later. They actually put it out, but they only did like 5 TPs at the time, and I managed to get one of those as well. And it's a really good record. Yeah, B12. In fact, I'll show you quickly one that I've got so many of them. The box here is just totally.
I totally wasn't aware. Okay, another Thomas. Wait a second.
Okay, look, I'll go. Here we go. I'll have to get better, Thomas.
Different records or same?
These are all different. Yeah, they're just all different B12.
All different. Okay.
All different colors. Like I'll just drag one out. They were so good at doing their colored vinyls. You know, every single one. In fact, you know, it's interesting because a lot of this stuff was I think maybe Warp got the idea to maybe color their do their artificial intelligence as colored vinyls. You know, along similar lines to these. In fact, I'll just quickly show you that. Like, there's so many. This one I've got signed there by Steve. So there he is. Look, B12, signed 2003. Then it's endless.
Are those records all listed up at Discogs or not?
They are, they're all on Discogs.
They are, okay.
Yeah, this is like the one I like the color of the best.
Oh, sweet Barbie.
It's serious, yeah. I mean, it was. But again, I remember when I bought all of these back in the day. They were hard to come by as well. You know, you really had to hunt them down, and you had to be patient. I remember that symmetric pink one took me forever.
Yeah, especially Dave, and also nowadays, if you consider the numbers, it's wow. It's wow. Not many are out there.
Yeah, no, they didn't make many. I mean, I think a lot of these early ones. B12 aren't here to correct me if I'm wrong, but you know, they'd only put sort of 500 copies, something like that, maybe 1,000 at the very top. But we're looking at small pressing runs, and that's why you couldn't get hold of them. Yeah. See, we're covering a lot of stuff, aren't we?
We did for sure. We did
for
sure.
Do a little beer break, by the way. You know,
yeah. Let's show it. It
wouldn't be the Sunday evening without the beer stop. Yeah. So I've got a lovely little day.
This looks empty. I can see it's empty.
Yeah, this one's in the glass. Yeah. So this is called Into the Haze. Yeah, and this is like a benchmark IPA. It's like what all other IPAs should be judged by. You know. The beer club, our beer club, we love this one. So yeah, there we go,
Dave, one question, serious questions. Do you keep the empty cans?
No, No, I do like the graphics, and I was talking to Manch about
Exactly. That's why I asked, because I wouldn't be surprised if you would keep one of each, to have all those motives.
I have been tempted in the past
I
to,
can imagine.
but because there's some, again, I think I really love design, and that's why I love record design as well. And some of these, I find some of these early techno ones really striking in their look. Yeah, and you're right. It actually translates a bit to all the breweries try to outdo them each other with the can graphics and stuff. And I guess it's a similar sort of madness going on here. Yeah. So.
But you got these records now. You made a trip to your vault to get those
Yes,
records.
I did, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I
So
just
you don't
bought
have
two
them.
boxes back.
You don't have them around you.
I do some, Michael. So what it is, I have so many records, yeah, that it would be if I had them all around me, I'd probably sort of be buried, and yeah, it would just be too much. So I do have I keep records close to me, which I'm listening to, which I love and stuff. But then when I get into the sort of comprehensive stuff, then there's some tucked away. But I have other things here behind me, which are things that I'm currently. And if I think, I want to listen to it, I can always just nip down there and pull it out. But I thought I'd bring a couple of my. It's scary because these are just 2 boxes, and there's probably another 8. Yeah. So, but I wanted to bring one back to.
So there is a chance for us lower humans that you put some of those. That you put some of those in.
I was saying to you, Michael. Thankfully, I was a hoarder. Yeah, because some of the records that really I think are some of the best. Yeah, ones that I so special. I've got multiple. I've got more than one of, and I'll show you one. I'm going to show you one shortly, but I just want to. While we're on I just want to do one more UK, because another one that I think is very important. So we've done Black Dog, we've done B12, but now I want to look at global communications, evolution, reload. So you'll know this because this has appeared. This compilation on Warp. Yeah. Now this compilation is not part of the artificial intelligence series, but it's a very it's a little bit after, but it's very important because it's a Warp compilation of evolution records, which is Reload, Global Communications, Link, and the Jedi Knights. And that's actually there's 2 guys, Mark Pritchard and Middleton. Now,
why do I know the name Mark Pritchard? Why?
Because he's a very prolific producer, and you might know he was actually involved with the very first Aphex Twin 12-inch, the one on Mighty Force, Analog Bubble Bath. He actually is on there as well. He did that with Aphex Twin right at the start, and the reason I want to show them is that they again made some of the very best. I mean, one of the records I'll show you here is in my top 5 British, right? So that's it's a big record, and I've got all the original Evolution 12 inches. Yeah, so like this one, this is number 1, Evolution number 1 from 1992, and that's so very, very cool. I've just noticed I've got 2 of these. So I met Mark Pritchard. He came round to my flat, many years ago. He ended up he sold some of his records, and I bought them. And he came because I bought quite a few. He actually said, "I'll come and see you." And he came round, and he was very kindly signed loads of them for me.
No,
so,
wow.
Yeah. And he loved coming round to my place because obviously I got loads of classical there as well. And he was saying, Dave, he goes, this is one of the only places you're going to come in the world where you're going to see sort of Bach's violin sonatas and partitas next to like a sort of a really rare techno record like Cole Craig on Retroactive next to Bach, I guess that sort of shows you see what this is all about. And I've got all the evolutions. Yeah, I've got 2 of that number 1, so I might even let one of those go. But it's very kind. He signed loads of them for me. That's Evolution number 3, Reload. The Keon Gaku EP. This is a great one. It's got really cool graphics. Evolution.
Here's a
4.
question from Mark Cironi. Maybe you can answer, Dave. Did Jedi Knights do anything on Warp?
Yeah, well, yeah, Jedi Knights. So Jedi Knights are, yeah, you're right. The stuff was on Clear. So Mark, I don't think they did anything on Warp under the name Jedi Knights, but that it is, you know, it's what we're looking at now. It's Mark Pritchard, Tom Middleton. You know, it's just one of their things. But he's right, Clear Records, which is a very good label, by the way. Very good label. This is one of my top 5. This is the Link Amenity EP, Evolution number 5, which has got one of the most stunning techno tracks ever produced on there. Again, signed by Mark very kindly. And I've actually got a test pressing of that as well, also signed by him. But that, I remember I heard this Future Sound of London broadcast on KISS from about 91. And I heard this track on it. I was like, what's that? What's that? And obviously I couldn't work out what it was. And then eventually I found...
Dave, one question. Maybe for some of the viewers, also when we go on the open channel, this might be a little overwhelming, you know. How can I get into it without buying just a random whatever 12-inch? Do you have an idea? What would you recommend for somebody who said, okay, I want to get an idea? How should he start, or she?
Well, with this, you know, these 12 inches, that's pretty, yeah, you know, there's a lot out there, and a lot of them are very expensive. But there was, you know, it's funny, there was a bit of a lull. Yeah, you know, I remember when it was really, a lot of these, they used to be really expensive, but, you know, it's like everything. I find things are quite cyclical, and it kind of tailed off, and the prices came down a lot. But I think a lot of this stuff is being refound, and I know we've talked about this, guys, with the Warp. Yeah, we know where that's going. Yeah, because it's so special. But what I would say on that specific question is, you don't necessarily need to get the 12 inches, but you can look like all these global, all these Evolution records. That's the reason Warp did this compilation, because it's kind of a compilation of them all. So you don't need to buy the individual 12 inches. Yeah, you can get this double album, yeah, at a fairly reasonable price. It's a lot more reasonable than if you try to buy all the individual 12s, you know.
Yes.
And you can get something like this, and it's a great way to get into it. Yeah. And I would say maybe with the B12 as well. There's ways to get some of that. The early music, there's a compilation of that as well. I'd seen through, you know, this is all my old stuff, but I remember that a few years back they did do a compilation. Yeah, so you can get some of this stuff. Yeah, but it is true, a lot of this early stuff, you know, it was like again more Evolution, more sign there. I've got another Link white label. I'm so pleased, you know. Oh, and this was a sort of offshoot, a Symbiotic, again, a super rare. In fact, I'll just quickly show you the label on this one. It's so cool. I've only got the one of these because it was impossible to get hold of, but it's just got this mad label. There we go. It's really like, almost looks like a sort of Symbiotic EP, Link Symbiotic. That was called.
Dave, one question again, please, if I may.
Yeah, go on.
Those records, those 12 inches, are they especially made for the DJs, for the club, and not for showing up at record stores?
Michael, it's a bit of both. I think because there was such a scene around it, and there was a lot of clubs going on. They were, you know, these records, you know, they were geared towards playing out or DJs, but a lot of this stuff, there's a lot of sort of more listening electronic music here as well. And you could give, you know, B12, there's a lot of listening techno. It's not really clubby techno. The same with the Evolution stuff. Same with even some of the Black Dog. The Black Dog was popular in the clubs, and there was even one of their tracks I remember got played on more of the hardcore breakbeaty side, but played at 45, not 33. So they were we were lucky in London. There was some specialist shops that opened up around the Soho area where they specialized in this sort of thing. So there was like what was it called? Was it Atlas Records? There was is it Small Fish? There were loads. I mean, I used to go to them. Vinyl Junkies, and used to be, and Sister Ray was a bit been there a while, but they all stocked this sort of material. So you could go up there to these black market, another one. You could get a lot of this specialist stuff, yeah, in London. So in answer to the question, I think it's both sides, Michael. A lot of it was 12 inches for playing, for DJs, but a lot of it's listening as well. So it was everything.
And by the way, I think it's time now that we also have to say thank you for Mark Cironi for putting all these amazing comments.
Yeah, Mark, you're very cool, mate.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. And again, amazing. This OBC club is amazing, right? Whatever topic, doesn't matter how obscure, there's always an OBC member who knows unbelievable much about it. It's always the same with the classical stuff, bearded or every time there's an OBC member who knows all about it. It's amazing.
I'm going to that's sort of all my I wanted to talk about the British stuff, but I just wanted to give a note, like just look at some other things that I was really in, because one of the boxes I had a load of these in. So I wanted to show you some other things. Here we go. We're gonna look at there's a label in Belgium called Buzz Records, yeah. And I know I think I've covered them before a little bit, but they were really good at licensing material from the States. And they did things like this, the Transmat Relics compilation, which is a compilation of loads of material on the Transmat label from Detroit, yeah. And this is a Belgium label. They were really good because, you know, techno was big in Belgium, and so you had R&F over there. But Buzz were they were really on it when it came to licensing. You know, we got the Virtual Sex compilation, which we all know. I've talked about that before. That one's been available. There's two others here I'm going to show, which are very rare. We've got the Panic in Detroit compilation, which again is on Buzz and 33 RPM sine wave records. You can see a little logo there. Very hard to get hold of that one, but very, very good. And my favorite, which is the last one, and this was actually bootleg, but these are original. I've actually got two of these. Right, so I've got, this is the Equinox compilation, which is called The Beginning, Night and Day, and it's a compilation of retroactive records. And retroactive, for me, was one of the very best Detroit labels, but it was very, very small, very short-lived. It didn't last very long. They only put 7 records out, but some of the music on it was some of the very best, and it's like legendary, yeah. So they did this compilation in Belgium. And it's, you know, it's got artists that we talked about in the last stream. If you look there at the top, Covert Action, Urban Tribe, Sherrod Ingram, Cole Craig, yeah. All the tracks on this are like, I'm looking on here, it's got No More Words, yeah, Cole Craig, and Suspiria, Cole Craig. They're two of his very best tracks, yeah, they're brilliant. So really cool compilation, that one. Very cool. But I'll show you, because this was the label, Michael, I was talking about, where I was so into it, I kind of had to, I had to sort of hoard some because I loved it so much, yeah. And I've got the very, like, kind of one of the earliest 12 inches on that label is was, I'll show it to you now actually. Here is this one. So this is extremely rare. This record is a retroactive number 4. And it's because of the music it's got on there, yeah. So it's got the very first Underground Resistance appearance of Underground Resistance, which UR became one of the biggest Detroit labels. You know, we're talking Mad Mike, you know, amazing label, prolific label. You know, loads of records. But this is where they appeared first. This came out in 1990. Yeah, this record, and it's got the Urban Tribe Covert Action on there, which is again just such a beautiful track. And then it's got BFC Please Stand By, which is Cole Craig. But what it's got on the B side is a track called The Climax by Cole Craig. And this 12-inch was mythical because The Climax is a very early very popular track, breakbeat track, by an amazing Cole Craig track. I remember I heard it on the radio, and I was like, "Where'd you get this?" And it only came out.
I need this immediately.
This record, never. The climax on the B side was like a mythical thing. It was like it didn't exist, but then I found one with that record on, with the climax on the B side. And so what I did was And this is where I ended up getting. I've got like 5 copies of it. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So look, I've got 5 copies with the climax on the B side, with the white label, and I was like, yeah, look, it's just one after the other. Now, if you go on Discogs, yeah, you can't even
Look
get
at Mark. Look at Mark. He needs one.
So yeah, but I just remember that was one of those records, Michael, where it kind of I became obsessed. Yeah, and because you couldn't get it back then, you know, it was like it was almost didn't exist, but then I found it did exist. Yeah, so yeah, that's how mad I went back then on these. And there's another.
Yeah, luckily for us, now you can present, you can talk, and you can offer.
I really like talking about that one because I remember it was when it came up. Some of these records were so expensive back then as well, and they did come down a bit. You know, they sort of became maybe less interest. You know, taste change a little bit, what have you. But I still see these as so important. And I'll just show you that there's lots of different versions of this record. That one I showed you was a special one because they put that special track on the other side. But the normal issue of it is like this. So it's got this really cool artwork.
Yeah, the label is cooler.
Yeah, the label is cooler on this one, you see. And this again, it's the same record, but it's got on the B side, it's got 2 different tracks. So it was kind of they I loved it, the sort of mystery about it that the normal version had 2 different tracks, but there was this special one that had a totally different track on it.
So they don't want to make it easy for us, right?
No, exactly that, Michael. And then
sometimes that's annoying because it's on purpose.
And there's also just again another very important retro. This Cole Craig, Rat Me, this one, yeah, No More Words EP. This was again one that took me so long to find. Yeah, I'll show you the label. It's one of his very best. It's got No More Words on one side and Suspiria on the other. And I found this in my vault. And it's funny. I'll just tell you something. You know, I put there's one of these up in the OBC, and I put it up there about 4 months ago, and it's just disappeared into the background. Yeah, and I loved it because I didn't really talk about it. I thought I'll put that in there and see if anybody notices it.
Yeah, but you know that's the point, Dave. I already talked about this with Mensch today a lot. We talked about the fact, and it is how it is, but sometimes we need this curation to understand what am I seeing here. Yeah. Is it special? Is it boring? Is it exciting? What is it? We need this curation sometimes.
Just highlighting things is helpful.
Yeah. So that it gets our attention, and then we dig into it and see, like, do we like it or don't we? Do I get the hype? Do I understand it or don't?
It's all about, you know, you're right. Look, see it, learn about, you know, I'll talk about it. Go and listen, see if it engages you. You know.
Yeah.
I'll just mention that Alan Oldham that I showed you, that label. He did all the records, the labels for Transmat, which was Derek May's label in Detroit. Again, there was like 3 labels. You had Metroplex, which was Warren Atkins, Transmat, Derek May, and you had KMS, which was Kevin Saunderson, yeah. And Alan Oldham, he did his artwork for the Transmats. I mean, this is new. This isn't actually the first edition of Nude Photo. It's a very early one. It's from 1987.
I think she shows her breasts.
Yeah, there you go, Michael. See.
What do you say to this? This is an outrage.
look, and then this side, the dance again, sort of Alan Oldham. And the reason this isn't the first edition of it. I've actually got the first edition as well, somewhere else in another box, which I might show on another stream sometime. But the reason I've got this one is it's the rare one which came with the Alan Oldham Gambit comic, yeah. And this is, I mean, this is like ultra rare, this comic. And it's
so when you show that comic, will the stream be shut down? Be careful, man.
No. This only came with the record. Yeah, it's so rare.
Wow.
It's just something that came with this record. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And so it's like kind of I just remember seeing that, and with the and I love all these artwork. In fact, one of my favourite ones, I put it up here, and it's one of my favourite artists on the label as well, is KLXE Shelby. This one. So in fact, All for Lisa, that's the track. This, they like to do these sort of gradient style labels. And I did actually show this in a previous stream, actually. I remember maybe, well, a good few months ago now, but again, an absolute classic Transmat 12-inch, this one. And I've got,
Nice.
again, I've got two of these. I've got two, so I'm going to pop one of those up as well. Because, and I also think this is a very special version, which when you hold up, I can see it when I hold it up to the light. It's actually, it's on a see-through vinyl. A bit like a Jordan.
Okay.
Yeah, so I can see when I put it up here. Yeah, it's a see-through one, which is very rare.
Nice. Dave. So this was the closing session in a way until we open it up again. I'm sure we will open it up. You, Thomas, Stunty, me, Nadine, we will open this up. Peter too. But next week we go for Blue Note originals, right?
Yeah. Wow. Blue Note originals. Hey, we're getting into dangerous areas doing that, aren't we?
Yeah, we will. Because
yeah, we've
so many, I figured out that a lot of people talk about Blue Note originals. There's a lot of talking about Blue Note originals, but showing and playing, not that much.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, Blue
and
Note,
we will do this on Wednesday, right? Actual showing and actual playing.
Well, I've got to say, Michael, Thomas has got an outstanding collection of Blue Notes, so I think it's going to make for some quite remarkable showing and listening. Yeah.
Yeah, but I've seen your stuff too over the years. You also have the one or the other. Yeah. So let's see and listen to Blue Note. And I really do like the you already said it in a way. You have the Leonard Coogan next to the Carl Craig, and we
Michael, you summed it up perfectly there.
Yeah, and we want to do the same also with the streams. We go from Warp to Blue Note, and from Blue Note to Krautrock, and from Krautrock to Turkish rock, back into classical, and from classical to
everything. We do everything.
Exactly.
Everything.
Exactly.
Captain Phoenix, I'll just answer your question quickly. Yes, it is. It is the first Matrix. I saw his. Yeah, he wanted to know. He's just got a rare sleeve because there's a version of the sleeve. It's Abbey Road, yeah. Funny we go from techno to Abbey Road, but there's a different cut of the sleeve where they cropped it differently and the colours are different. And you can see a lot more of the drain. There's a lot more of the zebra crossing. It's the rarer version of the cover. So just so you know that.
Yeah, if Dave or Thomas goes for those records, you can be sure that it's a copy that they say it is. If we are all humans, if something happens and it might be a mistake, we will take it back. So we are only human, but usually you can be quite sure that it is a copy we say it is.
I'm nearly human, Michael. I have got a lot of electronic music, right?
I agree. Thank you so much, Mark. You're not into jazz, but there was a store here in Boston, Lonely Tunes, that was their thing in the mid-90s. They had a wall of Blue Note OGs. They would get them in constantly. I can imagine that those times are over. Yeah, he's stating it.
You could find them in the 90s. Yeah.
Yeah, you did, right? You did it. This is one of the lucky men who did it. Okay. Yeah, of course, Joe. Rare Psych Records. You can bet we will see this.
You all line that. We've got a lot to do, haven't we, Michael?
Yeah. Dave, can't wait to see you on Wednesday.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Amazing again. Thanks all of you for watching us. I hope you all find the time to be there on Wednesday. Bye.